Careful with that axe, Eugene. Yes, dear friends, this is once again, and this is another episode of I Played a Thing, Astyanax. As of our starting point today, we are already more than halfway through the game, this being a single-sitting 8-bit NES game, with all that entails. However, this is where Astyanax takes out the long knives. Marshy's gonna give me nightmares, and the next two levels after Marshy are also pretty bad if I recall correctly. And one of the main reasons this level is so bad is that motherfucker in the lower right corner of the screen, Fishmen. They are tanky, they respawn quite aggressively if you don't keep pushing forward, and generally they just make your life miserable. And so, we are probably going to end up cutting out a fair number of deaths this session. Hopefully not too many. We'll see how things go. Onward. And right there you can see what I mean about them being tanky and them respawning rather aggressively. It took 4 full charge shots, granted that is from the spear, the weakest weapon, but all the same. The good news is, if they don't really have a place to land, they'll just keep jumping up and down in the same spot. Like so. Of course, the fact that they don't often have a good place to land is an indication that the footing in this level is kind of bad, and that's no fun either. Once again, we've increased the max power of our weapon, which is no bad thing with all the tanky enemies beginning to show up. As for these bouncy fish, these mother-fisting bouncy fish, it's like Astyanax took a look at the Medusa heads of the Castlevania fame and said, "Hold my beer." Oh, I should bring up something that was pointed out to me in the comments of the first video. I believe it was Lycanthrokeith. I should not sleep on Bind when it comes to mini-bosses, because it is quite effective against some of them. Which sounded familiar. I think I may have known that as a kid and just not remembered it into adulthood. However, something else he mentioned that was very interesting to me was that if you use up all your magic over the course of a level, or nearly all of it anyway, and then you open up one of those power-up containing statues, sometimes Cutie will come out and offer to either restore your magic or change your weapon. That I had no idea about. Whether that is immediately going to be relevant to me in Marshy, we will have to see, but if it is not, then I am definitely going to have to deliberately put it to the test at some point, because that sounds very worth seeing, oh damn it. And because Astyanax is not so much about the within-level checkpoints, back to the beginning we go. For the first time of quite possibly many. I really should make a little more use of my magic, just to keep myself from taking quite so much damage when relevant. Oh, that's another thing about the fishmen. Making them even more awesome, they can throw their spears. Which they will, very happily do at far range, but sometimes even at point blank they decide they're going to do it anyway, just to keep you on your toes, goddammit. Yeah, the thing I said about the footing not always being great in this level, yeah, definitely a thing. Oh, well, I'm back to my axe though, which I'm not entirely unhappy about. Attack power is good, I like it. Anywho, the poor footing in many parts of Marshy does not go along well with the fact that you get knocked down quite a bit, knocked back quite a bit, I should say, when you take damage. Whether you're in the air or on the ground, there's a good bit of damage bounce on old Astyanax there. Which, come to think of it, is another thing that it shares with Castlevania infamy, along with enemies that are put there mainly to just annoy you to death and knock you off of things. Oh, I do hate how quick this game is to respawn enemies if you back up even a little bit, or in the wrong place if you even stand still. Fuck you, plant. Don't really want the spear right now, so I'm just gonna keep my standard issue bash. And I don't want to fight all those either, so we'll make a little more use of that magic. Should probably be a little more liberal with it. It's there for a reason, and saving it don't do me no good because it does get restored at the end of a level. Not for a main boss fight, but, you know. Oh, that pisses me off. Oh, and there's our first game over, I do believe. Fortunately, if I do recall correctly, we do get unlimited continues, thank heavens. And we don't lose any more of our power-ups than we would normally, I think. I hope. Oh, come on, I was moving forward. How are you gonna throw another fishman at me already? By the by, if I don't make it through this time, I'm going to go ahead and cut out deaths until I do manage to make my way through. Or at least get to the mini-boss. But hopefully this time will be it. I can dream, right? Also, goddamn that hitbox. I was totally not in any way touching that fishman, but... because, our hero has a big-ass hitbox, even relative to his big-ass sprite. You're just gonna take those hits sometimes. There is one very fortunate thing about the next level, which, if I do recall correctly, is another fairly nasty one. I don't believe it has fishmen. And a reprieve from them is very much appreciated. Ah! Hatred! Okay, let us not plunge into the swamp. If we could avoid that, that would be just super duper. Don't want to blow through all my magic quite yet. Oh! That is a hit I really did not need to take at this point in my life. And this is where I start really hoping. Hoping? I've said that before, haven't I? What is with hoping? It's where I really start hoping that the game has a health restoration in store for me. Because I don't remember what the mini-boss of this level is, but if I don't get a little of my HP back, I kind of have a feeling I'm not going to be winning. No! I am Un, and I fucking hate Marshy. I'll see you in a bit. Okay, bad news is, I'm still in Marshy. Good news is, I just found the cutie power-up. So this will be the first time I've ever seen this. We get to change bash or spell up. Down change, I'm assuming that is down on the controller, or up, for our MP restoration. I've got the sword right now, and I think I'll stick with that. Spell power up, oh, and we get some little hearts. And some encouragement. Thank you, cutie. Well, that's a neat little feature. Followed immediately by death. Okay, we're in new territory. That's a small health up. I would have appreciated the blue one, but I'll take what I can get for the moment. And I have to say, I've been playing off-screen for 15 minutes of falling into pits and dying over and over again, and I have to say I'm developing an appreciation for the spear that I never had before. It does little damage, it causes your spells to do relatively little damage, and it looks kind of stupid. But it lets you cast your spells a lot more, and being able to throw out a smart bomb practically anytime you get in danger up to a point, that is something that I really underrated in previous attention to this game. Whether it will continue to get me through, we shall have to see, but I have found it to be very beneficial indeed. Also, this game's a little more generous with 1-ups than I remembered it being. I've gotten quite a few over the course of this session. Please be health. That's not health. I mean, I'll take it, but it's not health. Come on, come on, come on. Can't be too much farther, can it? And please make the mini-boss not that bad. Oh, it's a skeleton. with projectiles that I can actually duck, apparently. A rare thing in this game. I think I'm going to give it a little bindage. I'm into that. Just gonna make as much of use of that as I possibly can before I actually have to fight the damn thing. Which I now have to do with 1 hit point left, and shit. Come on, come on. Ugh! How much HP does this fucking thing have? Oh dear God! Wow, that was kind of the worst. I remembered Marshy being bad, I didn't remember Marshy being that bad. And onto Grave, which I remember is also kinda bad. So, save state with all speed. My God, there's 35 minutes of raw video, and how much of it have you actually seen at this point? I'll bet a pretty small fraction of that. Astyanax is a motherfucker. And I mean the game, not the dude. He seems like a reasonably pleasant young man. Oh sure, let's introduce the projectile skeletons, a mini-boss, and then immediately start putting them in as normal enemies. I'm totally cool with that. I see pits, and when I see pits in this game, I start to expect fuckery. That's about the kind of fuckery I was expecting. Fortunately, as I observed before, Grave does not have fishmen. And that is a blessing I will be more than happy to count at this point. And the fishmen I remembered being extremely tanky. The skeletons, not so much. I did not remember just how tough those would get over the course of the game. And you know what? I think I'm actually going to keep that... Oh, shit. I was going to keep the spear, but then I discovered, to my mild dismay, that swinging your weapon in the vicinity of a weapon change will collect it. Fuck that. I'm not even attempting to jump down and kill that thing the normal way. Yeah, this game is actually quite a bit more difficult than I remembered, but I will say for this turn, I am showing a much greater appreciation of and use of magic than I ever remembered doing it in my earlier times through the game. I really, really in the past underrated the smart bomb effect and how it can help your survivability. I'm also developing a new appreciation for how slowly inching forward to cause enemies to spawn before you're in a precarious situation, just how helpful that can be. Okay, that would have really been more helpful in the later parts of Marshy. But you know what? I can't be too mad. It's a blue health and the game doesn't give too many of those away. At least not in the last level, it sure as shit didn't. In addition to just letting your weapon charge up, I see that patience can be a major virtue in Astyanax. Just very carefully picking your battles. Fighting enemies when it's least disadvantageous to you to take a swing at them. In games like this, discretion is not super often the better part of valor, but in this one, yeah. Oh my god, we made it to the mini-boss on a single try. Amazing. Oh, I remember this fucker now. He can cast Bind. Well, perhaps I can beat him to the punch. He will cast Bind, and then he will attack you in a way that you probably will not be able to avoid. And because I am using the sword, I am now out of... Is there anything I can do to stop that? What about if I wail on him? Will that stop it? Doesn't matter, he doesn't have much HP. That is awesome. And as we have a boss fight now, I am saving state, once again. Okay, we've got a tree fucker. He has seedy breath. As I've been known to have on occasion. Generally not. I try to maintain decent oral hygiene, but, you know, every now and then, you're just a little skunky and there's not much you can do about it. This isn't going super well. Mind you, I came into the fight with no magic to speak of, and not really remembering what his pattern looked like. But you know what? It didn't matter. A-okay by me, Astyanax. That was much less horrible than Marshy. We've arrived at last! Yeah, at last, no shit. That is the Castle Thalanea. Okay, let's go, cutie! But before we can reach Thalanea proper, we have to cross the bridge of Telegam. And this, again if my memory is reliable, which is never a guarantee, this is the last of the 3 real pain-in-the-ass levels. After this, the last few are a little less horrible. But Telegam is no joke, not least because, you see, once again, we have annoyance fish and we have tanky fish. In real life, I'm quite fond of fish. In this game, they're kind of the worst. Not a big fan of when the game spins annoyance fish, tanky fish, and floating bomby eyeball things. That was supposed to be a smart bomb. Let me fix my magic. There we go. You see how a full health, or rather a full PW bar and the sword can be quite nice sometimes. Takes things out much quicker. But, you know what, I'll take standard bash. Oh, it didn't swing me back around to the original weapon? I thought that's how that worked. Could of course be that the game's decided to get squirrely there. It'll do that sometimes. I remember the mini-boss of this level being a bit of a hemorrhoid. Hopefully that won't go too badly. Full health up, I'll take. You know what? I'm going to save state, just because at this point, I really don't want to redo a lot of shit. I was hoping I could get one of those full charge one-hit kills there, but just couldn't quite make it happen. There I am, moving ahead too quickly. Taking needless risks. Gotta move slowly. Real easy to walk your giant-ass hitbox into those fish as they first pop out of the water. Like I almost did again. Okay, we've got an unbroken stretch of bridge here. The occasional enemy, but I'm wondering if we're starting to approach mini-boss country. Health, we'll take it. Oh, yep, I think we're approaching end of level, which means I'll probably want to break out the bind again. Ah, okay. This is what I thought it was going to be. It is a lion and a hawk, or eagle, whichever, that can occasionally unite into a griffin. At least I think it's an occasionally unite thing. I think it will eventually separate again. Of course, it could be making a liar out of me, and indeed it is making a liar out of me, and I expected that to be worse. I remembered Telegon being kind of a bitch. Cliff. Okay. I thought after Telegon we were heading straight into Astyanax proper, but I'm wrong. There is Cliff, which is a level I have no memory of. We'll see how bad it is. If it was really horrible, it probably would have stuck in my memory a bit more, so hopefully I'm right in my assumption that it's not memorably horrible, but, well, I'm sure Astyanax will be real quick to correct me on that if it's up in mine too. Ah. Well, up to that point I was doing quite nicely. But I do have to say, while sometimes you can get surprised and bump into things as you ascend like that I do appreciate the levels that scroll upward rather than downward, because you do control your movement. Ah. Making a liar out of me again, game. Most of the time, you can control your movement a little better than when gravity is doing the movement for you. And I think we are at mini-boss again, which means the bind spell would probably be a good idea to have handy. The fact that it's a cliffside prison, by the way, is kind of a neat little graphical touch, I think. Oh, we've seen one of these before. Of course, it is a later game palette swap, which probably means it's a little bit nastier, but we shall see. Cool! I can bind and destroy the projectile. I wasn't sure if that would work. And now I assume we're going to have a large boss again. Oh, perhaps we won't. What is this? Is this really a castle? Be careful! We are in the maze! Wait, I can hear the princess's voice! Pay attention to the signs. So you can reach... Her voice faded away. Something has stopped her telepathic signal. A sign. Let's go. And now we reached Astyanax proper. Interesting that World 5 didn't have a main boss. Anyway, as Rosebud helpfully and ominously pointed out to us, we are in a maze, but it's not as bad as it could be. It's in Astyanax, which is not a good sign, and it's a door maze, which is also not a good sign, but as luck would have it, the game pretty much dead gives away how to get through it, and you will see what I mean very shortly. I'm not going through this door because there's no sign. When there is a door that we should go through, there will be a sign, and you will see that sign momentarily. The sign that we are to pass through a door is it will be guarded by a skeleton. Thank you so much for that, Astyanax. A section of this game, with as easy as it is to take hits, in which you go around in circles for an extended period of time, as I no doubt would, Oh, in a game engine like this, that would just be sheer torture. But no. With the helpful skeleton giveaway, you always know when you're supposed to go through. Of course, I didn't know that coming in for the first time I ever went through this game, but it didn't take that long to figure out. It's a fairly clear signal, and I do appreciate that immensely. Not these guys. I don't appreciate them at all. Nor do I appreciate, as I mentioned before, how quick this game is to respawn enemies sometimes if you don't constantly advance. You know what? I'm just gonna do one of those. Uses up a lot of my MP when I'm wielding the sword, but fuck it. Ah! Taking some hits here I don't strictly need to. I hope that's not gonna screw me. Come on, get through that door. There we go. You have to hold up on the door for a moment or two to actually pass through, which is a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing in that it means you probably won't go through doors accidentally just by tapping up on the controller. A bad thing in that it means you can't just zoom through in a hurry to escape from whatever happens to be harassing you at the moment. Also, Sarah is out in the living room howling a bit. She usually only howls when there's a fire siren or the light going off. But I don't hear anything like that, so I wonder what's got her in all a kerfuffle. Ah! All the same, I recently got a blue fruit, so I can't be too mad. Shouldn't be too much longer now. We've gone through nearly identical rooms a fair number of times at this point. Hey, there we go. Let's drop ourselves a save state. I'm up to 5 lives, which is nice. As I mentioned, I didn't remember this game being so generous with 1-ups, but apparently it is. And that's a much appreciated kindness, because I do believe that you have to completely start the level over if you run out of lives and have to continue. Continues, I believe, are unlimited, but yeah, if you're like near the end of Grave, and you die and you have to go all the way back to the beginning of Marshy, for example, there would be tears. I'm a grown-ass man, but all the same, there would be tears, and oh, I believe this is our buddy Thorndog. Nope, didn't know that was going to be a full heal. Oh well. And it looks like that other wizard mid-boss. He can cast Bind on you, which kinda bites. But let's see if I can do the same to him. And I can. Interesting that we are seeing Thorndoggy Dog in mini-boss form.
Welcome, brave warrior from another world. I am Thorndog.
Where is the princess?
You are a noisy fly. She will be a slave to Blackhorn soon.
Wrong, ugly! First I'll destroy you, then I'll rescue her!
Tough talk, insect. Can you back it up?
And now, we fight Thorndog's Big Boss version. He has these little bubble projectiles, and to get to his weak point you have to chop his hand off, and then attack that gem in the middle of his chest. When he has his finger active, he can shoot that big laser at you, which looks pretty cool, I have to say. I like the effect of it causing all the fire to rise up from the floor where it strikes. And he can pin you in the corner with that, so it is a good idea to try and keep his hand chopped off as much of the time as you can. Not just to get your hits in, but also to keep him from lasering you. So if you see him backing you up toward the corner and starting to flex his fingers, then you want to lay into that hand real quick like. But as Astyanax bosses go, he's not a particularly high-pressure one. Oh, am I caught? Yep, I'm caught. Let's get that hand off, not take any more hits than we have to. And that is that. Secondary villain dropped. We are getting very close indeed. Thordog is defeated.
Whoa! Well done. But by defeating me, you've doomed yourself! You have been bound magically and must die with me! Long live Blackhorn!
I'm stuck! Astyanax! Listen! No one can erase Thorndog's seal without sacrificing their life! No, Cutie! Astyanax, I'm sorry that I brought you to this world. No! Cutie, don't do it! You must save the princess. Please, Astyanax. You want to get back to your world. But not this way. Don't worry about me. So long, Astyanax. Maybe someday. Cutie!
Ah!
Cutie. No!
Blackhorn, you'll die for this!
And so, with a heavy heart, we enter the tower, which is a mini-boss rush. Every floor will have one of our previous mini-bosses to take on, and then we will get an elevator up to the next. Some of these will be more trouble than others, this here being probably the easiest of the lot. Just want to make sure I have my bind equipped. We will not need it for that one, but there are mini-bosses in the future that no doubt we're going to want to paralyze a bit. Oh, I almost actually avoided that. Not a thing easily done. I want to try and gauge the time here, so I hit it at the last possible moment. So I minimize the knockback, keep it from wrapping around to the other side of the screen like we've seen previously. I don't think these mini-bosses have had their health particularly increased, because it seems like we are killing them quite quickly with our upgraded attack meter. Oh, there goes another one up. Can't say I mind. Oop. Griffin again. A little bit difficult to avoid contact damage here, so I will make judicious use of my bind. Didn't need it more than once, though. We are taking them down pretty damn quickly. Not complaining. And that is our lot, I think. We are about to proceed on to a very unique mini-boss, if memory serves. But first, a lovely health recovery. That's right, decent of you, Astyanax. And here's the man himself.
You've come at last.
Did you really think your evil creatures could stop me? Now release the princess at once!
Ha! Your boldness is exceeded only by your stupidity. Your princess is here, trapped. Now you will join her!
Be careful, Astyanax! Blackhorn's true faces!
You will see me controlling this world after you die. You'll just be a wandering soul.
Can you defeat me? Well, we'll certainly do what we can to prevent that. But as you can see, like Thorndog, we start off fighting Blackhorn in mini-boss form. And also like Thorndog, he starts off as a wizard who can use the usual 3 spells against you. But, while easily defeated in that form, he's got a second form, presumably the true form that Princess Rosebud was warning us about. A big, freaky-looking dragon. Nicely drawn, if not particularly well animated. Pretty simple attack pattern. He just kind of wanders back and forth, spitting out little fireballs, as you can see. And as you damage him, he will gradually power shift. And I don't think there's a whole lot else to him, aside from occasionally increasing the number of fireballs that he can throw out at one time. Can he bind? Yes, as a matter of fact, he can. I'm a little bit surprised that the game even allows bind to work on the very end boss, but it does. And I will gladly take advantage. Although that's something you definitely want to do when his heart is available. Because otherwise, you'll just be stuck there not able to attack. And apparently he can use bind himself, which I had not remembered. I guess even after transforming into a dragon, he is still a wizard in the end. But for certain values of wizard, so am I. Astyanax! I appreciate you risking your life to save me. Cutie gave her life so I could free you. She will be remembered, always. Your efforts have saved this country and all its people. Please, let's go back to Remlia. Everybody is waiting for you. We'll have a big celebration. Thank you, but I would like to get back to my world. My mom and dad are probably going nuts looking for me. I see. We will never forget you, Astyanax. Please, be happy in your world. I'm back! Was it all a dream? Huh? You! Astyanax! 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 I've missed you so! Oh, cutie, you're alive! But how? Oh, now I understand. Astyanax. Cutie. This is a reward for your bravery. The end. Aw, that's kind of a sweet ending. Really kind of goes along with the whole fairy tale vibe of the story, I think. And that, my friends, is Astyanax. A short game. Again, it's an NES 8-bit game designed to be played through in one sitting. And, in the end, my opinion of it remains more or less the same. It's fine. Not a brilliant game, not a bad game. It's fine. Certainly far from the worst thing I've ever done with 90 minutes of my time. The audio visuals, I have to say, are pretty nice. By Nintendo 8-bit standards, this game looks and sounds pretty solid. Mechanically, it's a little more of a mixed bag, I would say. Controls are reasonably responsive, except for when it comes to switching directions while you're ducking. But Astyanax's hitbox really is a bit much. I mean, the size and mobility of his sprite already is kinda tilted towards you taking a few more hits than you might in other games. And the fact that you can even get hit sometimes when it doesn't seem like you should, that's a little over the top, I would have to say. I was saying that the game felt a little harder than I remembered it, and once I was past Marshy, that stopped being the case. It's really just that one goddamn level. The rest of the game wasn't completely trivial, but as you saw, I didn't do a whole lot more dying after I got done with Marshy, which took, what was it, like 45 minutes? 35? Either way, yeah, Marshy took way more deaths and quite a bit more time than any other single stretch of the game, so I'm gonna go right ahead and see that one level is just a little bit bullshit. All in all, though, it was an enjoyable revisit, and the thing that first drew me to the game once upon a time when I first saw it in Nintendo Power, the certainly cliché but very recognizable and kind of nostalgic fairy tale element of the story, I still like that a lot. And though it was delivered with all the finesse of an 80s-era cartridge game, I really did kinda like the twist of Cutie's heroic sacrifice and then being rewarded in the end by getting to go back home with Astyanax and presumably live happily forever after it. I do hope you've all enjoyed this little stroll down memory lane with me, and if this is your first exposure to Astyanax, I'm glad I was able to introduce you, and by all means, if you ever have a moment and seems like a thing that might interest you, certainly wouldn't call it an all-time classic, but it's worth playing. Just, when you get to Marshy, no one's gonna think worse of you if you abuse save states. I kinda wish I had. Well then, dear Interblops, I will soon be returning to Demon's Souls. Whether that's going to be next, or whether I do another small game beforehand, I have yet to decide, but either way, I hope to see you soon. Take care, everyone. Thank you so much for watching, and that's game, Hendrix! Today's not especially manic pixie dream girl has been brought to you by Justin Carpenter, Nolden, Zangamarth, Anonymous Benefactor, John Madigan, Sanguine Games, Misha Van Doren, Frank Grizzy, Tim J., Lolo De Puzzlo, Joshua C. Ritchie, Jared C. Rice, Sonic Rose, EX Potemkin, Mechasaurus, DG Jono, Doug Russell, Dodecalope, Jirogue, Martin Chowanmakers, Mayo the Hedgefox, Hildegard Argelmach, IGV, Jazel, Joseph Hall, Hot Mayo Sandwich, Dan Larson, K. Ivan Rupert, Tiny Shopkeeper, Charlie Dunst, Kikoskia, Kobo4231, Yuka Takeuchi Fan, Chaotic Narrative, Mystery Accent, Lakota, Meiyan Ling, Renaman, Fate Everywhere, Rio, TJA, and other patrons in shining armor. Your very kind support is always a big help in carrying me through the month, and I thank you for it very much. Everyone in the comments, all subscribers and watchers, you make each week brighter in your own way, and I thank you for that as well. Have a good week, folks. All the best to you and yours, and be it Demon Souls or otherwise, I'll see you next turn of the wheel. Till then. Hello out there, thank you very much for watching. I hope you've had a good time, and I've been glad to have you. If you enjoyed this video, new subscribers always brighten my day, and if you really dig my stuff and would like to support me on Patreon, I shall be very grateful indeed. You're also invited to go with the stream every Friday at twitch.tv/unplayedathing. Thank you again, and have a good one.